You come seeking advice, but I have nothing to give. I drip privilege and love, marked by scars only designating the pieces of me able to heal. I never know what to say. You turn to the girl doing it all, the girl that could possibly understand, but it's not really her. It's her good fortune, luck that placed her in the position to feel whole. My struggles are petty, insignificant next to the mountains of tragedy that beseech the souls of others. Who am I to lend advice when I am but a product of circumstance? Sand molded into castle, what beautiful architecture. But it was not the sand which did this. The sand can't perceive its own form. It only exists to be blown away, trampled by malicious passers-by. Deflection, like rain off the umbrella, except rain keeps pouring. So many people need someone who shares their experience. They seek understanding in me. Our commonality so evident. And yet, I never know what to say. Forged by the hot coals of opposition, I am cooled by consistent support. Take shape as something new and different and steel. Cold. Lacking advice or understanding. Pain turned inward, not outward. Repeated introspection and turmoil, trauma buried and fear rationalized. I am captured by vanity and reflection. Narcissus staring in the pool as I fade into a new form. So unlike others like me. What can I say to provide comfort when our memories prove so different? Both of us misclassified, unapologetic, but only in the open, because alone, it's so much easier to cannibalize yourself. You open yourself up to me. Reveal your great pain, a pain I know so well how to hide. I didn't know what to say. I was captivated by the person I knew I was supposed to be. Inescapable, irrational ego. I should have said something of substance and not deflect the cries for help.
Production funding for Poetry Out Loud was provided in part by
And last year, I was named Richmond, Virginia's first Poet Laureate. Now, if you want to see more from me, you can check out Traumedy, currently streaming on Amazon Prime and other platforms. As COVID-19 continues to impact our world, it has also changed the nature of this competition. Today, we will be selecting a Virginia State Champion in a modified event that will be judged with a limited audience. Today's recording and broadcast of Poetry Out Loud was made possible because of a number of partners and sponsors who will be acknowledged and recognized later in the program. A little about Poetry Out Loud. It is a national recitation program sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation. Immersing high school students in the powerful language of poetry, Poetry Out Loud provides students an opportunity to master public speaking skills, build self-confidence, and learn about their literary heritage through classical and contemporary works of poetry. Each of today's 12 contestants competed in a virtual semifinal competition. The 3 highest scoring students from each of those competitions were invited to compete at the state level. The champion of today's state final will receive $200 and the opportunity to compete for the top prize of $20,000 in the national finals, which will be held again virtually. The semifinals will take place on May 1st, and the 9 finalists will compete on June 5th. Both events will stream live on arts.gov. The state champion will also receive $500 for the purchases of poetry books for their school. The first runner-up will receive $100 and a $200 stipend for their school library. There are 3 rounds in this competition. Each student will recite their poem in the recitation order as they are listed in the program for the first 2 rounds. 3 students will advance to round 3, and the 2 overall highest scoring recitations will be Virginia State champion and first runner-up. Students will be announced by the MC and will approach the microphone. Each student will identify their poem and author before beginning their recitation. If at any point during the recitation a student loses their place, they may request assistance from the prompter by saying line. No competition is complete without judges, and we are very appreciative of our judges with us here today. 3 of our judges will assess the students on their physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, level of complexity, evidence of understanding, and their overall performance. 1 judge serves as an accuracy judge, identifying inconsistencies between the written text and the spoken word. I would like to take time to briefly introduce all of our judges at this event. Angela Dribbin is the West Region representative for Poetry Society of Virginia. Her debut collection, Every Girl, was a finalist for the 2020 Broadkill Review Dogfish Head Prize. She is a contributing editor for Cider Press Review, a poetry contributor at Bread Loaf Writers Conference, and holds an MFA from Randolph College. George Mendez is an author, musician, and spoken word artist out of Hampton Roads, Virginia. He has been the standing host of the weekly Monday night open mic since 2012 at the venue on 35th in Norfolk, Virginia. He currently serves as vice president of the Poetry Society of Virginia. He has authored 3 collections of poetry and was the founder of Poet Fest, a day-long annual poetry festival in Norfolk, Virginia. Kim B. Miller is the Poet Laureate of Prince William County from October 2020 to October 2022. Kim's a motivational speaker that cultivates growth. Her latest book is called My Poetry is the Beauty You Overlook. Kim received the 2021 DMV Best Business Award in the category of Arts and Entertainment, and Kim is the 2019 Southern Fried Haiku Champion, one of the largest tournaments in the world. Our alternate judge is Dorothy Marie Rice. She is a retired Richmond Public Schools teacher who also worked with gifted students as a history and literature resource teacher in the Arts and Humanities Center. Retirement has been devoted to learning, making, and promoting visual art and poetry, and her works have been displayed in galleries across Richmond and Charlottesville. Our accuracy judge is Rich Follett. Rich Follett is a high school English teacher who has been writing poems and songs for more than 40 years. His poems have been featured in numerous online and print journals. 3 volumes of poetry are available through Neopoesis Press. He resides in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, where he pursues his interests as a professional actor, singer-songwriter, playwright, and director. All right, so a quick disclaimer about some of the poems. Some of the poems recited today may not be broadcasted. We apologize in advance for this. All poems must be approved and receive broadcasting rights through the National Poetry Foundation. With that, let's begin round 1 of our Poetry Out Loud recitations. Our first contestant is Damilola Awofasayo. Please approach the stage.
To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy.
How are you? You can breathe now. It's okay. You did great. So tell me about some of the inspiration behind picking this poem. Like what struck you? Why did this one stand out?
So I was kind of going through a lot of the poems in the Poetry Out Loud website and reading them all. And for this one, it was really hard for me to read because there was a lot of alliteration with that. A helium balloon, bright bachelor's button blue. I could not get through it. So I kind of chose this one as kind of a challenge for that because I had braces a while back and I've not been the best with pronunciation. So for me, it was just kind of like a little challenge. Like, can I recite all these consonants back to back? Which is why I chose it.
Nice. You didn't take the easy way out. You were like, you want to give yourself a challenge. I like that. Do you approach life like that? Like, I'm gonna take the road less traveled?
I think so.
Little poetry joke there.
Yeah. I think I do like to push myself. Not necessarily the road less traveled, but the road that anyone doesn't think I can do. I try to push expectations in my life, which is something I find exciting.
I like that. That's gonna serve you well. That's gonna serve you well in life. All right, thank you so much, Dami. That was Dami Lola Awofisayo from Thomas Jefferson High School. Next up is Kashfi Ramani of Rock Ridge High School.
The Two Boys by Mary Lamb. I saw a boy with eager eye open a book upon a stall and read as he devoured it all, which, when the stallman did espy, soon to the boy I heard him call, "You, sir, you never buy a book, therefore in one you shall not look." The boy passed slowly on and with a sigh. He wished he had never been taught to read, therefore of the old churl's books he should have no need. Of sufferings the poor have many, which never can the rich annoy. I soon perceived another boy, who looked as if he'd not had any food for that day, at least enjoy the sight of cold meat in a tavern larder. This boy's case, thought I, is surely harder. Thus hungry longing, thus without a penny, beholding choice of dainty dressed meat. No wonder, if he wish, he never had learned to eat.
All right, that was Kashfi Ramani of Rock Ridge High School. Next up is Katerina Ravichandran from Albemarle High School.
The Woman at the Washington Zoo by Randall Jarrell.
Okay, so when developing like the trying to figure out like the motivation for this poem and trying to figure out like all the like the performance notes, do you just kind of just dig into the poem, kind of find your own voice in it, or do you kind of like look up what the poet was originally trying to like, what's that process like?
Yeah, so I really like this poem because it had like a lot of imagery about the different animals, and so the poet Randall Jarrell, I saw that he wrote about the Washington Zoo, right? That's in the name.
Right.
And so I looked at the Washington Zoo and like I tried to envision like where he might have been sitting when he wrote this poem, because he wrote it, he saw someone sitting at the zoo and he envisioned like what they might be thinking, and so I tried to do the same sort of what he was thinking when he wrote it.
Okay, so because this is from like an observational kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? So like, you're kind of taking on that kind of the same role, like you're like kind of like outside looking in.
Yeah.
What's the motivation for that? Okay. When picking the poem, is that what stood out for you? It was this lens, this different kind of lens, or were you looking for something that resonated with you like personally?
Yeah, I mean, kind of as Dami said, I sort of like the challenge of the poem and like what would make it like, what would I have to do to really make it shine, you know? And so I liked a lot of the imagery, and I just thought it would be, you have to really consider what images are you trying to paint.
Nice. Well, you found your voice in it. Great job.
Thank you.
All right, that was Katerina Ravichandran from Albemarle High School. Next up is Samantha Rinker from Lake Braddock Secondary School.
Altered After Too Many Years Under the Mask by C.A. Conrad. I feel you judging me for becoming agoraphobic in someone else's house. I forget how I learned to stroll through grocery stores as though there is no crisis. My elbow cannot touch the middle of my back. My fingers, though, have found every part of me. Soon, no migration of wild animals will be unknown to humans. We will chart, film, record, publish, archive everything. It gives us something to do while we annihilate beauty. Poets shoveling a quarry that is really an ongoing crime scene investigation. A study in vomit, imitating vast chronicles of the face. Whatever world we can hold, we will never agree our neglect was worth it. Whatever amount of crazy we can imagine coming at us, double it. I found the perfect listening chair. Nothing but listeners who sit. I am sitting in it now, listening to my friend, the photographer, whose self-portrait I find reflected in eyes of her every photo.
That was Samantha Rinker from Lake Braddock Secondary School. This is Trinity Smith from Open High School.
Alternate Names for Black Boys by Denez Smith. 1. Smoke Above the Burning Bush. 2. Arch Nemesis of Summer Night. 3. First Son of Soil. 4. Coal Awaiting Spark and Wind. 5. Guilty Until Proven Dead. 6. Oil Heavy Starlight. 7. Monster Until Proven Ghost. 8. Gone. 9. A Phoenix Who Forgets to Unash. 10. Going, Gone. 11. Gods of Shovels and Black Veils. 12. What Once Passed for Kindling. 13. Fireworks at Dawn. 14. Brilliant. Shadow-hued coral. 15. I thought to leave this blank, but who am I to name us nothing? 16. Prayer who learned to bite and sprint. 17. A mother's joy and clutched breath.
That was Trinity Smith of Open High School. Next up, this is Catherine Nguyen from Colonial Forge High School.
After working 60 hours again, for what reason? By Bob Hickok. The best job I had was moving a stone from one side of the road to the other. This required a permit, which required a bribe. The bribe took all my salary. Yet, because I hadn't finished the job, I had no salary. And to pay the bribe, I took a job, moving the stone the other way. Because the official wanted his bribe, he gave me a permit for the second job. When I pointed out that the work would be best completed if I did nothing. He complimented my brain and wrote a letter to my employer suggesting promotion on stationery bearing the wings of a raptor spread in flight over a mountain smaller than the bird. My boss, fearing my intelligence, paid me to sleep on the sofa and take lunch with the official who required a bribe to keep anything from being done. When I told my parents, they wrote my brother to come home from university to be slapped on the back of the head. Dutifully, he arrived and bowed to receive his instruction, at which point sense entered his body, and he asked what I could do by way of a job. I pointed out there were stones everywhere, trying not to move. All it took was a little gumption to be the man who didn't move them. It was harder to explain the intricacies of not obtaining a permit to not do this. Just yesterday, he got up at dawn and shaved, as if the lack of hair on his face has anything to do with the appearance of food on an empty table.
That was Catherine Wynn from Colonial Forge High School. Next up, this is Ryan Pocus from Mills E. Godwin High School.
I am offering this poem by Jimmy Santiago Baca. I am offering this poem to you since I have nothing else to give. Keep it like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite through. I love you. I have nothing else to give you, so it is a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head to wear over your head, to tie up around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this as you would if you were lost, needing direction in the wilderness life becomes when mature. And in the corner of your drawer, tucked away like a cabin or hogan in dense trees, come knocking, and I will answer, give you directions, and let you warm yourself by this fire, rest by this fire, and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give, and all anyone needs to live, and to go on living inside when the world outside no longer cares if you live or die. Remember, I love you.
That was Ryan Pocus of Mills E. Godwin High School. Next up is Isaiah Riddle from Grace Christian School.
The Maldive Shark by Herman Melville. About the shark, phlegmatical one, pale sot of the Maldive Sea. The sleek little pilotfish, azure and slim, how alert in attendance be. From his sopped of mouth, from his carnal of maw, they have nothing of harm to dread, but liquidly glide on his ghastly flank, or before his Gorgonian head, or lurk in the port of serrated teeth and white triple tiers of glittering gates, and there find a haven when peril's abroad, an asylum in jaws of the fates. They are friends, and friendly they guide him to prey, yet never partake of the treat. Eyes and brain to the dotard, lethargic and dull, pale ravener of horrible meat.
That was Isaiah Riddle from Grace Christian School. Next up is Alyssa Malcolm from Deep Run High School.
I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
All right, that was Alyssa Malcolm of Deep Run High School. Next up is Evelyn Bogus from Heritage High School.
Un Tintero, Inkwell by Desiree Alvarez. Anger is the other person inside mi garganta, my throat. The mouth's mouth is the deepest. Rage is the homeless boy fallen down a well. Shout down, and he will echo back. La lengua, tongue. How long have you been down there, subterráneo, underground? The letters of Cortes are difficult to read. On each page, a horse dies. The lord of the city lives homeless in a canoe. Hundreds of natives are speared. Another town is burned alive with all its caged creatures. On each page, the people appear to walk over their dead. La tierra estercolada. The earth fertilized spreads a cloth whose pattern repeats. On each page, the future arrives on a raft woven of snakes. Over and over, the design obliterates. Never does he say, this was their home we took.
That was Evelyn Bogus from Heritage High School. Next up, this is Killian Wynn from St. Christopher's School.
Windy City by Stuart Diebeck.
Killian.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good.
How did we get here? How did we get to the Windy City?
Well, I am truly a city kid at heart. I live in Richmond. I love it there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought the imagery captured the aesthetic and vibe and kind of emotions that a busy city at nighttime kind of has and carries with it. So, and I thought the imagery was really fun to recite. So.
I agree. Great imagery. And then, Windy City, first thing that comes up is Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever been to Chicago?
I have not. I would love to go, but
don't go in the winter.
Yes, I've heard.
You'll
it
freeze.
Can be pretty brutal.
But you did a great job. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
That was Killian Wynn, St. Christopher's School. Next up, and finishing out this round, is Bailey Moncure from Appomattox Regional Governor's School.
Nocturne by Louise Gluck. Mother died last night. Mother who never dies. Winter was in the air, many months away, but in the air nevertheless. It was the 10th of May. Hyacinth and apple blossom bloomed in the back garden. We could hear Maria singing songs from Czechoslovakia. How alone I am. Songs of that kind. How alone I am. No mother, no father. My brain seems so empty without them. Aromas drifted out of the earth. The dishes were in the sink, rinsed but not stacked. Under the full moon, Maria was folding the washing. The stiff sheets became dry, white rectangles of moonlight. How alone I am. But in music, my desolation is my rejoicing. It was the 10th of May, as it had been the 9th, the 8th. Mother slept in her bed, her arms outstretched, her head balanced between them.
Well, that concludes our first round of recitations. We will have a brief intermission and return to enjoy a performance by the Rich Follett. Rich Follett is a performer of original contemporary folk music and poetry. He currently serves as the Poet Laureate for his adopted hometown of Strasburg and has recently been selected for inclusion in the Virginia Poets Database at Old Dominion University. This song, My Heart Has a Mind of Its Own, is to understand why human beings do things and make things that we know do not make good sense. Yet, we still go there every time. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rich Follett.
Sometimes my heart floats like a feather, sometimes it sinks like a stone. It's got nothing to do with the stars or the weather, it's just that my heart has a mind of its own. Sometimes my thoughts are lighter than laughter, sometimes they crash like the waves and the foam. So if I don't give you the answer you're after, it's just that my heart has a mind of its own. It's a kaleidoscope world full of chameleon dreams. Nothing's ever as good as you'd like it to be, but it's never as bad as it seems. No, it's never as bad as it seems. Sometimes the wind can set my heart reeling, sometimes it rattles my bones. I can't explain the change in my feelings, it's just that my heart has a mind of its own. Oh, it's a kaleidoscope world full of chameleon dreams. Nothing's ever as good as you'd like it to be, but it's never as bad as it seems. No, it's never as bad as it seems. Think about it. Sometimes my heart floats like a feather, sometimes it sinks like a stone. It's got nothing to do with the stars or the weather, it's just that my heart has a mind of its own. It's just that my heart has a mind of its own.
Give a big hand for Rich Follett. Now, to begin round two, following the recitation order from round one, students will identify their poem and author. After round two, we will take a brief break and identify the top 3 students who will advance to the round 3 to determine today's state champion. All right, so let's begin. First up, from Thomas Jefferson High School, this is Damilola Awofisayo.
Requiem by Camille T. Dungy. Sing the Mass, light upon me, washing words, now that I am gone. The sky was a hot blue sheet the summer breeze fanned out and over the town. I could have lived forever under that sky. Forgetting where I was, I looked left, not right, crossed into a street and stepped in front of the bus. That ended me. Will you believe me when I tell you it was beautiful? My left leg turned to uselessness and my right shoe flung some distance down the road. Will you believe me when I tell you I had never been so in love with anyone as I was then with everyone I saw? The way an age-worn man held his wife's shaking arm, supporting the weight that seemed to sing from the heart she clutched. Knowing her eyes embraced the pile that was me. He guided her sacked body through the crowd. And the way one woman began to fast the moment she looked under the wheel. I saw her swear off decadence. I saw her start to pray. You see, I was so beautiful, the woman sent to clean the streets used words like police tape to keep back a young boy seconds before he rounded the grisly bumper. The woman who cordoned the area feared my memory would fly him through the world on pinions of passion, much as later. The sight of my awful beauty pulled her down to tears. When she pooled my blood with water and swiftly washed my stains away.
Back again, representing Rock Ridge High School, this is Kashfi Ramani.
I Am Learning to Abandon the World by Linda Paston.
Okay, so when selecting this piece, right, we're Where did you find yourself? Or was this about building a character? Was this about creating something outside of yourself?
Well, with this poem, I feel like this is probably the one that resonates with me the most.
Okay.
I think that even though this was written by an older woman, when I first read this poem, I read this in context of, being a teenager in present day and having to deal with this constant stress and pressure that's put on you and kind of trying to battle that. And eventually, I've almost saw this as if I don't want to get to this person's point. I don't want to be at this point where I'm so numb to the world, where I've just given up everything. But kind of the second part of the poem is what struck me the most, finding happiness in the little things. And that's something that I try to do day by day, by hanging out with my sister and just doing the things I love, like writing and performing. So I guess I saw this as like my story. So that's how I wanted to portray that.
I liked that this was like almost like a forewarning, right? It's like, I don't want to get to this point, so I'm going to do these things so that I don't get to this point. So
you knew
like,
what was going on.
Right, like kind of took away something, it changed your perspective a little bit. That's pretty great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Representing Albemarle High School, this is Katarina Ravichandran.
Self-Inquiry Before the Job Interview by Gary Soto. Did you sneeze? Yes, I rid myself of the imposter inside me. Did you iron your shirt? Yes, I used the steam of mother's hate. Did you wash your hands? Yes, I learned my hygiene from a raccoon. I prayed on my knees, and my knees answered with pain. I gargled. I polished my shoes until I saw who I was. I inflated my resume by employing my middle name. I walked to my interview, early, the sun like a ring on an electric stove. I patted my hair when I entered the wind of a revolving door. The guard said, "For a guy like you, it's the 19th floor." The economy was up. Flags whipped in every city plaza in America. This I saw for myself as I rode the elevator. Empty, because everyone had a job, but me. Did you clean your ears? Yes, I heard my fate in the drinking fountain's idiotic drivel. Did you slice a banana into your daily mush? I added a pinch of salt, 2 raisins to sweeten my breath. Did you remember your pen? I remembered my fingers when the elevator opened. I shook hands that dripped like a dirty sea. I found a chair and desk. My name tag said, my name. Through the glass ceiling, I saw the heavy rumps of CEOs. Outside my window, the sun was a burning stove. All of us pushing papers to keep it going.
Keeping this thing going from Lake Braddock Secondary School. This is Samantha Rinker.
Stomp by Nikki Grimes. I come home, feet about to bleed from angry stomping. "Boy," says Mom, "quit making all that racket." But what does she expect when day after day haters sling words at me like jagged stones designed to split my skin? I retreat to my room, collapse on the bed, count 1, 2, 3. When I get to 10, I snatch up journal and pen, flip to a clean page, and unload my hurt, my rage, till I can breathe again. Letter by letter, I rediscover my power to decide which words matter, which words don't, and whose. Calm now, I remember, I get to choose.
From Open High, this is Trinity Smith.
The Time I've Lost in Wooing by Thomas More. The time I've lost in wooing, in watching and pursuing, the light that lies in woman's eyes has been my heart's undoing. Though wisdom oft has sought me, I scorned the lore she brought me. My only books were woman's looks and all follies they've taught me. Her smile when beauty granted, I hung with gaze enchanted. Like him, the sprite, whom maids by night oft meet in glen that's haunted. Like him, too, beauty won me, but while her eyes were on me, if once their ray was turned away, oh, winds could not outrun me. And are those follies going? And is my heart growing too cold or wise for brilliant eyes again to set it glowing? No, vain, alas, the endeavor from bonds so sweet to sever. Poor wisdom's chance against the glance is now as weak as ever.
From Colonial Forge High, this is Catherine Nguyen.
Ways of Talking by Ha Jin.
Great job.
Thank you.
So there's a lot to unpack in this piece. What was that process for you? Like when you took this poem on, you know, we're not talking about grief and maybe in the traditional sense, not at least not through the entire piece. Where are you in this poem?
This poem is actually the one that resonates with me the most out of all of them. In my life, I've had to deal with just not having someone around that was really important to me for a long period of time. And, you know, when I was younger, I would have never thought that this was something I could ever relate to. But I think that as you grow up, you kind of realize that grief doesn't just mean someone is dead or, you know, they're not around anymore in a traditional sense, like you were saying.
Right.
But that grief is just loss, and loss is unique to everyone. So I think that I internalized the loss that I've dealt with in my life, and this poem has a special place in my heart because of that.
Nice. Do you feel like moving forward, like you're processing it a little differently than as a result of how the speaker in this poem is?
Yes, absolutely. I think that I'm learning to be a lot more forgiving of myself and how I deal with things, and, you know, just accepting that life has its ups and downs and that I will always push forward.
Nice. That is profound. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, from Mills E. Godwin High School, this is Ryan Pocus.
The Legend by Garrett Hongo. In Chicago, it is snowing softly, and a man has just done his wash for the week. He steps into the twilight of early evening, carrying a wrinkled shopping bag full of neatly folded clothes, and, for a moment, enjoys the feel of warm laundry and crinkled paper, flannel-like, against his gloveless hands. There's a Rembrandt glow on his face, a triangle of orange in the hollow of his cheek, as a last flash of sunset blazes the storefronts and lit windows of the street. He is Asian, Thai or Vietnamese, and very skinny, dressed as one of the poor in rumpled suit pants and a plaid mackinaw, dingy and too large. He negotiates the slick of ice on the sidewalk by his car, opens the Fairlane's back door, leans to place the laundry in, and turns. For an instant toward the flurry of footsteps and cries of pedestrians as a boy. That's all he was. Backs from the corner package store, shooting a pistol, firing at once at the dumbfounded man who falls forward, grabbing at his chest. A few sounds escape from his mouth, a babbling no one understands, as people surround him, bewildered at his speech. The noises he makes are nothing to them. The boy has gone, lost in the light array of foot traffic, dappling the snow with fresh prints. Tonight, I read about Descartes' grand courage to doubt everything except his own miraculous existence. And I feel so distinct from the wounded man lying on the concrete. I am ashamed. Let the night sky cover him as he dies. Let the weaver girl cross the bridge of heaven and take up his cold hands in memory of J. Kashwamura.
Okay, from Grace Christian School, this is Isaiah Riddle.
Dream Song 14 by John Berryman. Life, friends, is boring. We must not say so. After all, the sky flashes, the great sea yearns, we ourselves flash and yearn. And moreover, my mother told me as a boy, repeatingly, ever to confess you're bored means you have no inner resources. I conclude now I have no inner resources because I am heavy bored. Peoples bore me. Literature bores me, especially great literature. Henry bores me with his plights and gripes as bad as Achilles, who loves people and valiant art, which bores me. And the tranquil hills and gin look like a drag. And somehow a dog has taken itself and its tail considerably away into mountains or sea or sky, leaving behind me, Wag.
From Deep Run High School, this is Alyssa Malcolm.
Won't You Celebrate With Me by Lucille Clifton. Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life I had no model? Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up. Here on this bridge between starshine and clay, my one hand holding tight my other hand, come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed.
Now, from Heritage High School, this is Evelyn Bogus.
Songs for the People by Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. Let me make the songs for the people, songs for the old and young, songs to stir like a battle cry wherever they are sung, not for the clashing of sabers, for carnage nor for strife, but songs to thrill the hearts of men with more abundant life. Let me make the songs for the weary amid life's fever and fret, till hearts shall relax their tension and careworn brows forget. Let me sing for little children before their footsteps stray, sweet anthems of love and duty to float o'er life's highway. I would sing for the poor and aged when shadows dim their sight, of the bright and restful mansions where there shall be no night. Our world, so worn and weary, needs music pure and strong to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of men, grown tender, girdle the world with peace.
Representing St. Christopher's School, this is Killian Wynn.
Try to Praise the Mutilated World by Adam Zagajewski.
All right, praise the mutilated world. How did we get to?
Well, I kind of wanted a foil for my other one, which is just kind of describing a pretty city.
Right.
I picked it in December, but obviously since then some crazy stuff has happened in the world. So I kind of read it in a whole new light now. And I think it really resonates even truer with me with the whole situation with Russia and Ukraine. A lot of question marks in the air. People don't really know what's going to happen. The world is a really, really screwed up place, and the poem basically acknowledges that and says you have to try to look on the bright side anyway, which is really interesting.
Just finding a way to be optimistic, even when things are crumbling around you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, trust me, you'll need that later in life.
Right.
That optimism.
Thank you.
I assure you. Thank you so much. All right, from Appomattox Regional Governor School, this is Bailey Moncure.
Harold and the Purple Crayon by D. Gilson. Berkeley psychologist told Harold his anger was justified. What parents let their child go for a midnight walk under no moon? I couldn't have been more than 4. Harold told the doctor in her crisp beige office. Doctor, could it ever be okay for a 4-year-old to eat 9 different types of pie? Harold asked her. Call me Lisa, the doctor replied. Everyone knew Harold could draw. By sophomore year, he was critiquing grad students. By 20, Harold knew exactly when to quote Sontag, standing in front of a professor's latest pastel of Mojave succulents. This just makes me think how in place of our hermeneutics, we need an erotics of art. Harold's professors would hum and nod their dragon heads, though none of them understood exactly what Harold said. By senior year, Harold became distant, his work increasingly angry. Apple trees, their fruit rotting in monochrome purple, under the notable lack of a moon.
Well, that concludes round 2. We will take a brief intermission in preparation for round 3.
I founded Teens with a Purpose in 1996. We started as a ministry to address HIV/AIDS. In 2007, we became a nonprofit and became Teens with a Purpose, the youth movement, and that's when we transitioned from HIV/AIDS education to any issues that young people face, teens creatively cultivating the next generation of leaders, using the arts as a foundation so that young people have a voice and they take their art form out around the community, impacting things that matter to them and following the needs of young people, because over the generations, that's changed. Poetry always fit because Teens with a Purpose follows what young people say they want and need. It's their platform, so they define a lot of what vehicles we use to make a difference. And from the very beginning, we had spoken word poetry. Fast forward to 2008, there was an organization called Youth Speaks and Brave New Voices, and people had heard about us and said, would you like to be a part of Brave New Voices Network? And so that was the first time we started training them specifically to compete.
You come seeking advice.
I discovered Teens with a Purpose through the Youth Poet Laureate program for Hampton Roads. It just felt right to put myself out there, and it really inspired me to start writing poetry about my own personal experiences. I personally am a trans woman. I felt the need to express myself and share my experiences with the hope that it could change hearts and minds.
Reid is amazing. One thing that makes her especially special to us is because we really strive to elevate the voices of marginalized people. And so her winning the Hampton Roads Youth Poet Laureate program was just a blessing.
After winning the initial competition to become the Hampton Roads Youth Poet Laureate for 2021, I've had performance opportunities throughout the Hampton Roads area, in Norfolk, in Hampton. They let me participate in the Brave New Voices Hampton Roads Youth Poet Slam team, and we actually placed third at that competition this past summer. It's really a testament to what you can accomplish when you put yourself out there and really speak your truth and put your own personal experience and emotion into your art.
We've made sure that she had platforms. She can affect change just by showing up on a stage and delivering her beautiful, amazing poetry.
Deflection. Like rain off the umbrella, except rain keeps pouring. So many people need someone who shares their experience. They seek understanding in me. Inescapable, irrational ego. I should have said something of substance and not deflect the cries for help.
I find it very therapeutic to try and translate some of my more traumatic memories, but also happy experiences into works of art. I think that poetry itself is the perfect medium to translate raw emotion into understandable language. And I've found that trying to put some of my life story into words in such an artistic and I guess like broad sense has been very valuable in processing what's happened and in shaping my story so that I can best convey it to everybody else.
Tell your truth, to peel back the layers and get to the heart of the why did you think this poem needed to be heard? Why did you write it? Why did you write this poem? Why do they need to hear it? Things like careers that maybe they wouldn't have considered, but because they're articulate, they're heard, they're well-spoken, that opens the box and you can go anywhere with that. And you know, that's self-efficacy and just really believing in oneself. All of that through that little thing called poetry.
The judges have identified the top 3 finalists to proceed to the third and final round of today's competition. They are Katarina Ravichandran, Isaiah Riddle, and Bailey Moncure. So let's begin the final round of the competition to determine our state champion. As with the previous round, students will identify their poem and author. First up, From Albemarle High School, this is Katerina Ravichandran.
The Two Boys by Mary Lamb. I saw a boy with eager eye open a book upon a stall, and read as he devoured all, which when the stallman did espy, soon to the boy I heard him call, "You, sir, you never buy a book, therefore in one you shall not look." The boy passed slowly on, and with a sigh, he wished he never had been taught to read. Then of the old churl's books he should have had no need. Of sufferings the poor have many, which never can the rich annoy. I soon perceived another boy, who looked as if he'd not had any food for that day at least, enjoy the sight of cold meat in a tavern larder. This boy's case, thought I, is surely harder, thus hungry longing, thus without a penny, beholding choice of dainty dressed meat. No wonder if he wish he ne'er had learned to eat.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, Roscoe.
Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, so very serious question. I mean, very serious.
Sorry.
Extremely serious. Take this seriously. Okay. If they were making music today, who would have been the bigger pop star, Mother Goose or Dr. Seuss?
I feel like Dr. Seuss knows the hell I feel like he'd be keeping in touch with what's up to date.
Be real current.
Yeah, Mother Goose would be more classic, you know what I mean? And so I feel like Mother Goose would be my mom's favorite or my dad's favorite. But like Dr. Seuss would be what the kids are putting on, you know?
Okay, all right. Taking one little shot at mom and dad right there.
Mother Goose, but it's just more my mom style, right?
Okay. Like how you're going to mom for confirmation now. You did a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
From Grace Christian School, this is Isaiah Riddle.
Battle Hymn of the Republic by Julia Ward Howe. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the fatal lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. I have seen him in the watchfires of 100 circling camps. They have builded him an altar in the evening dews and damps. I can read his righteous sentence by the dim and flaring lamps. His day is marching on. I have read a fiery gospel, written burnished rows of steel. As ye deal with my contemners, so with you my grace shall deal. Let the hero, born of woman, crush the serpent with his heel. Since God is marching on, he has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of man before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with a glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me as he died to make men holy. Let us die to make men free, while God is marching on.
Hey, great job.
Thank you.
So we're not playing around anymore. No more lighthearted questions. These are serious, okay?
Okay.
Who's winning in a rap battle, Elmo or Cookie Monster?
Oh.
Somebody said, like that was a real thought-provoking question. Oh, man.
I'd have to say Cookie Monster.
You taking Cookie Monster in this?
Yeah.
Okay, any particular reason?
I just feel like Cookie Monster could really dominate in that situation. I mean, he's a little more intimidating. I don't know. I feel like Elmo's a little bit of a pushover.
A little push, okay. He's
Yeah.
not bringing the heat. He's not bringing the fire. Okay. Cookie Monster's got a good voice too, real authoritative. You know what I mean? Yeah. C is for cookie. Going down, Elmo. Thank you so much. You did great.
Thank you.
From Appomattox Regional Governor School, this is Bailey Moncure.
In School Days by John Greenleaf Whittier. Still sits the schoolhouse by the road, a ragged beggar sleeping. Around it still the sumacs grow and blackberry vines are creeping. Within the master's desk is seen, deep scarred by raps official, the warping floor, the battered seats, the jackknife's carved initial. The charcoal frescoes on its wall, its door's worn sill betraying. The feet that creeping slow to school went storming out to play. Long years ago, a winter sun shone over it at setting, lit up its western window panes and low eaves icy fretting. It touched the tangled golden curls and brown eyes full of grieving, of one who still her steps delayed when all the school were leaving. For near her stood the little boy, her childish favor singled, his cap pulled low upon a face where pride and shame were mingled. Pushing with restless feet the snow, to right and left he lingered, as restlessly her tiny hands the blue-checked apron fingered. He saw her lift her eyes, he felt the soft hands light caressing, and heard the tremble of her voice, as if a fault confessing. I'm sorry that I spelt the word. I hate to go above you, because the brown eyes lower fell, because, you see, I love you. Still memory to a gray-haired man, that sweet child face is showing. Dear girl, the grasses on her grave he lives to learn. In life's hard school, how few who pass above him lament their triumph and his loss, like her, because they love him.
Great job. All right, so you get stuck on the island with the cast of your favorite TV show as a kid. As a kid, your favorite TV show as a kid. Who are you getting stuck with?
Oh, that's a hard. As a kid.
Like, what was your favorite show as a kid?
Okay. Can I just pick a TV show that I watch now?
Sure. Let's go.
Owl House is really cool.
Loud House?
Owl House. The Owl
Owl
House.
House.
The Owl House. Yeah, it's really good. It's
okay.
a really good TV.
This is new for me.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you get stuck with the cast. Are they surviving? Like, there's no food. You got to sacrifice somebody. What's happening? Who's gonna catch it first?
I guess I'd say the villain. I can't remember what the villain's name is, but he has this mask and he has horns. I feel terrible. I watched this show. I should know the name of this person.
I'm so sorry. It's okay. It's not an indictment on you as a fan.
I know. I feel terrible.
They still believe in you as a fan. It's
okay.
Okay. You did a great job.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
That concludes our third and final round of recitations today. While the judges are tabulating their scores, I would like to introduce you to Janet Stark, the Executive Director for the Virginia Commission for the Arts, which helped make all of this possible. Janet?
Thanks so much, Roscoe. It's always a pleasure to have you here hosting this event now for many years now. So again, hi, my name is Janet Stark, and I'm the Executive Director for the Virginia Commission for the Arts, the state arts agency that supports arts in the Commonwealth through funding from the Virginia General Assembly and the National Endowment for the Arts. On behalf of the board and staff of the commission, I want to welcome you to the 17th annual Virginia State Finals of the Poetry Out Loud program. The VCA's mission is to invest in the arts in the Commonwealth by supporting, celebrating, and promoting artistic and cultural equity in an innovative and creative environment to benefit all Virginians. Poetry Out Loud is an enriching example of fulfillment of that mission that empowers student voice, celebrating the art of prose, poetry, and recitation. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. We're so glad you chose to be here. I, for one, am thrilled to be back in person with the incredibly talented students from across the Commonwealth of Virginia participating this year, who've advanced from very competitive regional semifinals to represent their schools and communities, and to be able to experience this truly unique event once again. As we look to the successful conclusion of today's program, I just wanted to thank our partners in this effort, the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation, our statewide partners who provided support through their professional work and resources, Lighthouse Studios in Charlottesville, our many judges, both in the regional competitions and those here today, and Reggie Cabico, a member of the VCA's teaching artist roster, who helped us to engage students in some of our most rural areas for the first time through performance poetry residency. And finally, I want to extend special thanks and appreciation to our partners here at VPM for their professional and financial support to produce the recording and broadcast for this event. We sincerely appreciate this long-standing and growing partnership. Thanks too to our performer today and judge, Rich Follett, and to our wonderful MC and host, Richmond's first poet laureate, Roscoe Burnhams. Thank you so much to you all for being a part of this event. And finally, thanks to the VCA's own Casey Polchensky, our Arts and Education Coordinator, who works each year with our national and state partners and the students and parents and teachers across the Commonwealth to get us to today's exciting event. To our student finalists, congratulations to each of you. You are regional champions from across the state, and you have so much to be proud of to get you on your journey here today. And so now it is my honor to introduce to you the Secretary of Education for the Commonwealth of Virginia, Amy Gadara. Amy?
Thank you, Janet. And what an absolute delight to be here today. This absolutely is much better than negotiating budget amendments at the State House. So I would love to spend the whole day with you all listening. And it is such a delight to be here in person. The arts always bring us together. They always allow us to remind ourselves that we have a shared humanity, and never more than we're together, experiencing the arts together, are we reminded of that. And there's such a difference in sitting and reading a poem alone in your bed in a book than it is to sit here and experience and listen to you all recite this in person. It changes everything, and it's entrancing. And I just want to say thank you so much for adding joy to my day, and you're going to inspire me to break out a book of poetry this evening, so thank you for that. The arts matter, and I'm here as a wife and a mom of English majors. So literature and analysis, and hearing you all give your analyses after your poetry readings were really, it's wonderful. And art is just such an important part of our life, and the fine arts, and I'm so thankful for the Commission of Arts here in Virginia to celebrate that and to remind us that this is not a nice add-on, but this is central to the quality of our life as a community and as a Commonwealth, but also as individuals. And after being isolated and alone and not being able to gather for so long after the pandemic, this is especially a day of celebration, not just of great work that you all have done and how much time and effort and study you've put into this, and to your parents for also supporting you, but also just to celebrate a coming back together and a return to normalcy, and also with an appreciation that we'll never forget the joy and the importance as a community of coming together and building bonds, and how important the arts are to doing that. So thank you for doing that. I also want to say thank you for keeping a wonderful gift of reciting poetry alive. My husband wooed me with poetry. He would send me good, great big poetry books of Keats when I was studying in grad school. I'm not sure when he thought I was going to read that, but he wooed me with that. And also, I'm just struck with that art is so much a part of the beginnings of things, but also my mother-in-law just passed away this past year. And on her deathbed at age 95, she was still reciting snippets of Tennyson and of Frost. And we would bring books of poetry and read to her. And it just makes me think how important the arts are at beginnings, and at endings, but also throughout our life. And there's nothing like celebrating this together. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you for reminding all of us how important it is to keep the arts alive and well, and thank you especially for keeping poetry and reading out loud alive. And most importantly, I just want to say thank you to VPM for sponsoring this and the Commission of Fine Arts for also reminding all of us how important this is, and also making it possible to expand having these messages get out to the entire Commonwealth. So thank you for also making this small room that's gotten to enjoy this today a larger one with expanding our audience. And most importantly, I just want to say congratulations. I want to add my thanks and congratulations to the students, to all of you, no matter what the outcome is of today. All of you have worked so hard. You're winners right now by being here at the state finals, and I wish whoever moves on to the nationals good luck with that, and we look forward to following your success. And just want to say thank you to all of you. You have much to be proud of, and I look forward to following your progress. But thank you for inviting me today. Congratulations to the parents and to the students especially, but many, many thanks.
I believe the judges have determined a winner and a runner-up. Before we announce the runner-up and winner, a reminder, the state champion will receive $200 and the opportunity to compete in the virtual National Poetry Out Loud competition May 1st and June 5th. The champion's school will receive a $500 stipend for the purchase of poetry books. The first runner-up will receive $100 and a $200 stipend for the purchase of poetry books for their school library. All right, so the second runner-up. Please show some love for Bailey Moncure, Appomattox Regional Governors School. And for our first runner-up, from Grace Christian School, Isaiah Riddle. Which means that our winner for today, representing Albemarle High School, this is Katarina Ravichandran. All right. Well, congrats to you all. And for those who have supported you through Poetry Out Loud, we would like to thank the Virginia Commission for the Arts, National Endowment for the Arts, and the Poetry Foundation for their support of the Poetry Out Loud program in Virginia. In addition, we would like to thank our sponsors for their financial support of today's broadcast. Many thanks goes to VPM for hosting and producing the Virginia Finals. Thank you for coming. Good day.
I love you so much. I love you so much.
Congratulations.
I love you. It's sort of funny. I read the poetry and I love it, but really I'm more of like a math kid. I'm a STEM kid, and but I heard about this Poetry Out Loud competition. I thought, this looks pretty fun, and so I competed this year in school, and then I've been lucky enough to keep advancing, and so I really enjoyed it. I think both of the first two poems I did really spoke to me because they both were these sort of internal monologues, but in two really different ways. The first one was a woman really struggling to break out on her own and really take life by the horns, whereas the second poem was more about this is who I'm, and I have to accept it, and I have to, overcome anxiety. And I think this sort of dichotomy is really interesting.
They feel empowered in the moment. When after the poem is received by the audience, there's always someone who comes up and says, "Thank you for that poem," and they share what that did for them. And it also helps young people know you can walk in any space. If you can speak well, if you're confident in what you're saying and in who you are, every place is your place.
I think poems offer a sort of emotion and expression that other forms of art really can't. We see it in music, but I think when it's just the poem, there's just a whole different meaning. And so the opportunity to give that expression is just really, exciting.
Having the confidence and the poise to stand in front of an audience and deliver that piece is critical for being any type of leader, any type of speaker. And the confidence that a young person gains through performance poetry is incredible. Standing in truth that you believe, that you feel, that resonates with your heart and your being.
I hadn't really considered reciting poetry as something that was a possibility. But on top of that, I think I am better at reading poems now that I understand how many emotions and how much depth there is to each poem. Having read some of these poems like hundreds of times, you realize there's so much more than meets the eye.
If Poetry Out Loud is lifted up, you're helping a young person fall in love with reading. Literary arts, Poetry Out Loud, Teens with a Purpose poetry programs are invaluable to education.